Thank you. Appreciate everybody being here. Like always, I'm not going to talk about Vanderbilt game, but if you guys have any questions, fire away and I'll answer them. But looking at here at Syracuse, it's another really good football team. They finished last year in a shootout with Pitt in the last game. They got beat 76-61. So they scored 61 points in their last game. They scored 50 last week in their opening game. So it's a really high-powered offense. They're very explosive. They got good players. It's up tempo. They've got 9 returning starters off that team. Coach Babers is getting his offensive philosophy installed. And defensively, they've got 9 starters returning also. I think they're really good up front. They're athletic. They're big. They can run. So it's another good defense. They gave up some points last year, but they got to shut out the first game. And then they've got their kicker and their punter back. Those guys were really good. One was all ACC last year. So it's a good football team. It's going to be a challenge going on the road, playing in the dome up there against another really good opponent. So we got to have a good week of preparation. We had a good day yesterday practicing, and anticipate the same moving forward. So I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach, offensively, I know last year I think they were 11th overall passing. They bring back a pretty good passing game. What are you expecting on that front? I think
they'll try to throw it 50, 60 times. I think they'll come in here or in that game that they'll try to spread us out and throw. That's what they do, So I don't anticipate anything different.
On the offensive line, do you think this is one of the more raw offensive lines that you've had in your tenure here?
Shoot, I don't know. I mean, we started 3 new starters there, and I'm sure if you go through the years, I imagine at times there's been 2 or 3 guys that have new starters in there periodically. But those guys will work. They'll continue to get better. I got 100% confidence in them that they'll continue to improve.
What do you guys need to change defensively, knowing that they have that good passing attack coming up against you?
I don't know if it's anything we need to change or not. It's only the second game. Obviously we've got to be ready for tempo, where Vanderbilt was a huddle team. They did do some tempo a little bit, but mostly they huddled. And, so we got to be prepared for that, the speed that they'll go at between plays, and just same thing no matter what we do, you just execute the call, whether you're in this coverage or you're dropping this many people or you're blitzing this many people. You just, I don't think there's anything we need to change. You just, go out and execute the call.
Coach, with this being the second Power 5 team you guys are facing in a row, do you kind of circle that game because of how much it can do for you guys overall as a program?
No, sir. It's going to. If you win, it gives you a win. You don't get a win and a half by beating the Power 5. So we beat Missouri last year, and it counted as 1 win. So it's not going to do any more. You'll get your name on ESPN Saturday night, but Sunday morning or Monday morning they're going to be talking about the next game. So you play it one game at a time, and we'll put all our focus and all our energy into Syracuse this week.
Coach, whenever you think about going on the road, is that maybe a good thing? Get the juices flowing a little bit more, get away from home. Is that good news, bad news, no news?
I'd probably say it's not good news. You'd rather play all your games at home if you could. But the thing that it helps you as a team, it develops your your mental toughness, your focus, because you're going into an environment that you're not familiar with. And you got the flying logistics, you got new hotel, you got new locker room. You know, a lot of our guys played in a dome when we played San Antonio a couple years ago. A lot of our guys haven't, so this will be a first experience playing in a dome, you know, for a lot of guys. So the challenges of going on the road are always harder and more difficult than playing at home, and that's why, you know, it's why the Power 5 conferences play 7 home games, you know, because you'd rather play at home than on the road. So, but you know, it'll be a good experience for us.
You mentioned Sunday's practice. What kind of response did you want? What kind of response did you get?
The response that I wanted was a team that was going to be resilient and not feel sorry for themselves and not hang their head and come out and know that, you know, we still have 12 games left, and to work to improve, work to get better, stay committed to the cause of what our objective is, and that's what I got.
Coach, just touching on what you just said, how does the psychological portion of your coaching doctorate come into play when you're dealing with stuff like that?
That's a great question, and you know, because we invested a lot in that game. Our players invested a lot in that game, not just the week prior, but, you know, since January when we came back. And when you invest that much and you don't get the reward that you were striving to get, it's tough. And but so you just, you know, to me, you don't dwell on it. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, not much, but we got beat by a better team. They were better than us. I mean, and that doesn't mean we're not a good team. It just means we got beat by somebody better than us. And, yeah, we did some things that we've got to improve on to give us a better opportunity to win moving forward. And that's what you try to stress. You stay positive. I'm going to stay positive because there were some positive things in that game that you're going to take out of it. But I'm going to be positive. Always have been, always will be. And, you know, I don't believe in, you know, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. So I know we got a good team. I know we got good players. We got beat by a better team. And tip my hat to them. And I did that after the game, and now we're moving forward.
Coach, speaking on improvement, what would you say the number one thing you guys as a coaching staff want to stress to the team to improve on going forward into this week's game?
You know, I don't know if there's, you know, one particular area. You know, I think it's a accumulation of all of us, you know, me, coaches, players, everybody, just getting a little bit better at something at their particular position. You know, you're always going to find out, you know, in a game. It's why the NFL plays preseason games. They can find out, you know, what's going to work, what's not going to work. And, you know, we've got a better idea now defensively and offensively and in our kicking game of some things that, you know, we need to work on to get better, and some things that, hey, maybe we can't do this, you know. So I think it's just an accumulation of the entire game that everybody be accountable and get a little bit better at their particular position. And then I think we've got a better idea now of some things that we can and can't do from a team standpoint. But that's a good question.
Richie's basically set a record in, 2 seasons in one game. What has he done that made him so great?
Well, I think the big thing is, one, he's a good player. He's got a good skill set, and he's got good players around him. And I said it after the game, nobody is going to set a record or have success without somebody else having a part in it. And, so he's got good players around him, but he's a good player. He's got a good skill set. He's got good ball skills. He works hard to develop himself as a player, or he has worked hard to develop himself as a player. He's a good football player.